Sideline Media.
What is up, everybody? We are back. It is great to be back. What a beautiful Friday. We're recording this on October 1st. Happy Halloween to everybody. This is episode 1
It feels amazing to be back.
of
I'm here
Full
in
Court
Stillwater,
Press,
Oklahoma,
powered by
ready to get
Riverside
this started. It's been
FM.
a long
I am
time
All
coming,
Red.
Blake. Let's get this
Beside me
thing
is
going.
Q. Q, how's it feel to be back?
Well, I have 2 costumes, so we have 2 parties. So I'm either going tonight as
Absolutely.
Harry Potter
Before we
and
get
then
started, Q, what are you dressing up as for Halloween?
Hermione, and then Anakin or Padme, and Padme with my girlfriend. Not, yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah, if you dress up as
I did
Padme,
it one year and
that's
I
just going to
actually
break
had
the
the
internet. I'm going as a referee. My girlfriend's going as
I
a
wish I still had
cheerleader.
that.
I honestly should do the blind referee thing.
No, I got it
think
from
that would be
Party
funny
City.
as
It
fuck.
was a whole pack. I'm sure Walmart
But
sells
anyway.
canes. I mean, they ain't got like a specialized store where you find blind canes.
Walmart sell canes?
Like the blind cane
Would that be
store.
weird if I walked into
Yeah.
Walmart, bought a blind person cane? Probably. Yeah. They probably have a hard time
Keep
finding that anyway.
Keep that in.
Anyway. Yeah, that's
We're
not
not
going
part
in
of
the
Ocali
episode.
anymore.
I really just
What part of
I had
Ocali
to
anymore?
get
We're
that
grown
shit
ass
in
men.
there. All right, so let's jump right in. First off, we're going to talk a little bit about the preseason. That's true. We're our own thing. We're going to talk a little bit about the preseason AP poll.
I'm kind of surprised.
Purdue comes in at number 1, Houston at 2,
really,
and then
St.
defending
John's
champ
and
Florida
Michigan.
at 3.
St. John's, they were
Q,
my favorites.
what are your
to win it all
thoughts on
last
the
year. I
AP
thought Rick
poll
Pitino was going to come
before the
back with
season
a chip on his shoulder. He had the team. He had the flexibility, I thought, but he didn't end up playing. Who was it? He didn't play, and he's now transferred. And he had like averaged 23 points during the year. I forget his name. Anyways, he's gone now. Michigan also, that really doesn't help our case, so. But anyways, Michigan, number 7. Can you tell me anything Michigan has done in the past 5 years in basketball? Exactly. As I rest my case in that, anything else really surprisingly low for me is Kansas. I think Kansas could be at least above Iowa State, maybe even Alabama, even Arkansas. I don't think Arkansas is all that good. I think Calipari's on his last leg. I also think Self is on his last leg, but I think his last leg is way better than Calipari's last leg. He's proven that, I think. So I think Kansas will be a riser. Fallers, I think, is going to be Michigan and St. John, sadly, but also keep an eye out for UConn. We'll get into that with Q's questions later. Yeah, those are my surprises, and risers or fallers.
I like that. I'm kind of with you. I think Kansas is a little bit too low. They're always, it seems like, a preseason top 5 team, like a national title contender. I get that they've lost a lot of people, but they do have a guy, Darren Peterson. He's a projected top 3 pick. We're going to get into that a little bit more here in a little bit. But another one that kind of surprises me is Louisville at 11. I think that's a little bit high. I do think they're a top 25 team. I just don't know if they're like top 15 yet. And yeah, the ACC is like, it's so weird that you never really know. At least the last couple seasons, you know, Duke and North Carolina always have some really good teams, but
2 years ago. So
recently it's been some other players in that conference that rise as the season goes along. So exactly. So like the ACC is just a weird basketball conference in that like you never really know. And the Big 12 is kind of the same thing. Like
it's just
there's the same 2 or 3 teams that are going to be at the top at the beginning of the season, and then by the time you're into the end of January, you're looking at like 6 or 7 different teams that have the possibility of and it's honestly a lot better now with like the Houstons and the BYUs, the Arizonas. Losing OU and Texas really did nothing to the Big 12. It honestly helped in basketball, at least. Football is a completely different story. We're not going to talk about that, but yeah, AP poll, again, preseason, you can't really take it with a grain of salt, in all honesty, because there's so many games and the season's so long. Like the chances of your top 10 staying even for the first 4 weeks of the season is very slim. Up next, we're going to move. This is my segment, my personal segment, BP's Bracket Busters. Basically, every episode, we're going to go around the country. I'm going to introduce you to a mid-major that either you should
Yeah.
look out for, you should maybe tune into their games because they're going to be pretty entertaining, or it's just someone that people haven't heard of. This week, I've decided to go with Grand Canyon University. Shout out the Lopes out in Phoenix, Arizona. They went 26-8 last season, 13-3 in the Western Athletic Conference, and this season they move into the Mountain West. So you're going to get some teams like San Diego State, UNLV. There's some pretty good competition out there in the Mountain West, and I think being a tournament team 4 out of the last 5 seasons for Grand Canyon, it's going to be a great step up for them. Their head coach
Does
is
he have
Bryce
hair?
Drew, and he's the brother of Baylor's head coach, Scott Drew.
Okay,
So a lot of
there you go.
basketball in that family
That's
for
huge.
sure. 3 pretty big non-conference games for them. 2 of them will come at the end of November, and then 1 beginning of December. They play in the Acrisure Classic out in California. They'll play Utah and then either Ole Miss or Iowa, November 25th and then the 26th. And on December 6th, they host Oklahoma State. So that's 3 potentially really big games for them, quad 1, quad 2, somewhere in there, that will give them a lot of confidence going into their first Mountain West Conference play. And they also
Oh,
brought in
man.
a couple transfers that I think you should pay attention to. One is Brian Moore Jr. He is in his, I think, 5th or 6th season, one of the two. In college, he started out his career. You're gonna like this. When he started out his career at Northeast Oklahoma, NEO, he was a JUCO All American there, averaged 21.3 points per game. And then he had stops at Murray State. And last season, he was at Norfolk State, averaged 18.7 points and shot just over 52% from the field. And he was the only guard in the country with those numbers. So he's going to provide a lot of offense for the Lopes. And then another one, Jaden Henley from UNLV,
What
little
position
Mountain
is
West
he?
action there. Won Mountain West Player of the Week once last season and scored in double figures
Okay.
21 of the 28 games he appeared in. So a couple big name transfers for them. And I think they're a team that I think he was a forward. So again, they're a team that if you get bored on a random Tuesday night in December and want to watch some good basketball, I would definitely find Grand Canyon. I would assume that most of their games are going to be on ESPN. So if you are subscribed to that, make sure you check out the Lopes. I'd love to see them be one of the bids out of the Mountain West, getting their first action in a real group of 5 conference instead of the WAC. So
Well,
big
it's
step up
been
for them.
riveting
Shout out
in
the
the
Lopes.
NCAA for
And
preseason. You know,
Q,
there's
I'm going
been
to
a lot
pass it
of
to you for our
bustings in the
preseason
gambling world, as we all
storylines
know, in
in the
minor
NCAA.
NCAA D3, D2. There's been a lot of transfers. There's been a lot of head coaching changes against the Pokes. Anyways, I digress.
Shout out Roomba.
I think it's going to be
Sponsor
the
us.
year of the freshmen again. I think the freshmen are just going to dominate. I don't think any upperclassmen are really going to wow us. I think it's just going to be another Cameron Boozer, AJ Dipinazza, how you ever say it. Excuse my pronunciation. But Dibonsa. Dibonsa. Shout out the Mormons. Don't get at me. Shout out soaking. Anyway,
It's Dibonsa for those out
yeah,
there that
year of the
care about
freshman.
pronunciations.
It's gonna be a pretty fun year. I think a lot of movement, but we'll get into that later. That'll go in my Q's questions. But I don't. There's not a lot of storylines really with the NCAA that are too big right now. Oh wait! I actually
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like you really,
so if y'all don't know, the NCAA is nearing a decision to expand March
man,
Madness basketball tournament to
they're going to bring it up
76
every year.
teams, likely to
I have a
begin next
feeling
year
that
with
they're
the
actually going to do it.
2026-27 season. This would involve 12 opening round games
Like,
played at 2 sites instead of the current first 4 play-in games. While expansion talks stalled for the 2026 season, a decision for future season is expected soon as executives continue discussions with TV partners. So it's looking like we're not going to have any more play-ins, which everyone usually loves. That's where we get the Cinderella stories. That's where teams get hot. And now it seems like that it's going to be gone because of TV, and I get wanting to get more teams in it, but I just think that would make you
yeah,
spend more money for the lower level college. I think we're going to see lower level colleges now lose a lot of D1, D2, NAIA, whatever status now because they can't pay for that or whatever. Because if they're going to make that trip, how much of that trip is part of that budget of their whole year? So
yeah, right. Yeah, like if you look at it from the watcher's standpoint, I think there's really only one pro that stands out, and that's you get the opportunity for more teams that, like in the one bid leagues, you might get it might turn into a two bid. Like last season, Chattanooga came out of a one big league, and UNC Greensboro was like right neck and neck with them the entire season. But in a one bid league, you're only going to get Chattanooga. So I think as far as that's concerned, it's a pro, but at the same time, you lose that first four. Like a couple seasons ago, we had UCLA who came in the first four as an 11 seed, won that play-in game, and then made it all the way to the Final Four. So you're adding an extra 1 or 2 games for some teams, and if you do have that
Yeah.
rare UCLA
Kills
occurrence
the regular
where you have
season.
a team that's talented enough,
Yep, I agree.
they're going to get to the Sweet 16 and play the same amount of games as they would have if it was just the first four and made it all the way
Well,
to the
talk.
Final Four.
Yes, yeah, yep.
On the NCAA's side of it, I think there's definitely more pros than cons. Main thing for them is the TV deals, and secondly, like you also can add in that you get more teams in it, so you have more chances of Cinderellas and things like that. And it's the same exact thing with the 12-team playoff.
Mhm.
Like they added more, so you had more teams with the chance to win. Like you have a chance of a 10 seed winning the college football playoff, whereas 4 years ago
Really?
it would have been a 4 seed. Um, as a watcher, though, I've honestly never even really been a huge fan of the first four. I do think it's cool, and I think it's a lot
I
cooler
understand that. I
than
was just
if we had
that's like where they get
76.
there. It's like the
Uh,
wild card
but
MLB. That's just
like as far
they
as
get
I'm
hot, stay
concerned, the
hot,
tournament doesn't start
like
until
where
you
it comes
get
from.
through the first four and you're into the first round. But yeah.
I'll tell you what,
But
if
like at the same time, as
this
a
team is
basketball
not in a team of
enjoyer, I would love to
76,
see like if we go to
we're gonna
76. I don't know if they're going to extend it out to like 18 seeds or what, but whatever they
I love
do,
Lutz,
I would
but,
love to see.
we're gonna have some talks.
Yeah, yep, that'd be pretty bad. If you didn't know we were OSU fans, now you know. Obviously, Q has a giant sign behind him that would probably tell you a lot. I'm also an OSU fan. I'm already ready for the calendar to switch to November so I can whip this bad boy out. My lord, we're completely serious on this show. Take everything serious. This is professional in all ways, shapes, and forms. My other preseason storylines were kind of along the same lines as yours. Freshmen are going to
That
be
was
the
my
top
scouting
dogs,
report coming out
I
too.
think, all across the country. The 3 guys that are projected to go top 3 in the draft, Cameron Boozer, AJ DeBonsa, and Darren Peterson. Their stats in some exhibition games. AJ DeBonsa against UNC, 18, 3 blocks and 3 steals. Darren Peterson against Louisville, 26, 4, 2, and 5 steals, 6 for 10 from 3. And then Cameron Boozer against Tennessee, 24 points, 23 boards. So that's like a really good race. And yes, it's exhibition. They do not matter. I get that. But I just feel like it's worth noting that these guys are going to be the stars of their teams. And they're going to be some stars of some really good teams come March. Up next, we're going to do our full court 5. This is 5 games, and we have 5 for college and NBA. This is 5 games that we think you should tune into over the next week or so. We have 2 that we both are going to talk about, and then we each pick 3 on our own. The first one that we both picked is number 3, Florida at number 13, Arizona. This one's on November 3rd, so on Monday at 6 p.m. Central on TNT. A
Oh,
couple really highly ranked teams. This is honestly probably the best game of the first week of the season. Arizona brought in the number 2 overall recruiting class coming into this season, and Florida returns Alex Condon from a national champion and also brings in Arkansas transfer Boogie Fland and Princeton transfer Xavier Lee. So that to me is a really big game as far as postseason's concerned, because I think those are 2
yeah.
teams that could finish really close to each other come seeding time, and I think this
Well,
game
Florida
will maybe
obviously is trying to
determine
go back to back for the
the
first
line
time
between a 1
since
and a 2 seed
the
or a
Yukon
2 and a
Huskies
3.
did it 2 years ago.
So what are your thoughts on this
So
game, Q?
they carry that expectation. I just don't know if Arizona's like there yet, just to like have those expectations. They obviously have a great class. They're returning a lot of core pieces. Toby Akawa, Jaden Bradley, they're both going to be probably first round picks this year. I mean, it's not a very deep NBA draft from what we've seen so far, but yeah, they'll probably be first round picks. It's going to be a front court battle. Big men will probably set the tone. Florida has to defend the paint. I think Condon is going to do but he's got to. I'm interested to see how well he moves his feet this year, because last year it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough to watch. So we'll see.
And Condon, he also played hurt a majority of the NCAA tournament, so you don't really know exactly how he's going to look to start this season. If he's 100% healthy, is he going
Yeah.
to be
Also,
the same player
Arizona,
he was?
Krivas, very
Is he
good
going to
shooting guard.
regress
He's
a
going to be
little
out
bit
this
now,
game.
being
He's
more of a
still dealing
leader
with like
on this
some
team? So
hamstring or
you never
something.
really know
But
with that kind of thing.
he's pretty good. I think he's a sophomore and junior, but I think he had like some pretty good numbers last year. But I think Florida's national championship, and they're coached very well. So I think they're gonna come out with for blood. Is it at Arizona or is it neutral site? Interesting. That
Yes,
doesn't sway me.
it
Florida.
is. It is, as far as I know, it is at Arizona, according to ESPN.
Okay. Okay.
Going Florida. It did sway me. I'm going to Arizona home court. Florida, I think right off the bat we're already picking opposites. I love that. I just think Florida, with that defending champion title, there's a lot that comes with it. And like Arizona, they're going to come out for blood. They want to set the tone of their season, and if you get the chance to play the national champion on your home court to start your season, I think it's a big opportunity for them to make some noise and turn some heads around the country. Like, hey, we've been on the outside looking in of the title contenders the last few years, and this is our
Yep.
season where we're going to be like, hey, y'all need to talk about us as a legit contender. So my pick is Arizona. Q's going Florida. Already off the bat, two different picks.
That's
And
right.
if you
But
watched
we'll see.
us back in the old days, you know that we should probably never fade Q, but I'm fading Q on this one. Next game that we're both going to talk about is Oral Roberts and Oklahoma State. The Eagles and the
It'll be on
Pokes tip off
the C.
November 4th at 7 p.m. Central. That one, for some reason, does not have a
Fox
TV
12.
location yet. I don't know why it's not on like ESPN Plus or something like that, but okay. Main things in that game for me, guy to watch out for, obviously Anthony
Transfer
Roy,
from
one of the most prolific scorers in all of college basketball. He showed us a lot in the couple exhibition games that OSU had against Auburn and then SMU. And one thing for yeah, shout out. And ORU brings in an Oklahoma State transfer, Connor Dow. He's a sharpshooter. I'm not sure how much we're going to see of him, but I guess that's something, playing his former team. And my other big thing for this game, Oral Roberts has
Fucking
not
knock
beaten
on wood.
Oklahoma State since 2007. Oklahoma State's on like an 8-game win streak against them. They played quite a few times the last few seasons. So big game in Gallagher-Iba for the Pokes to start their season against a team that the last few seasons has had some really good teams, made a couple NCAA tournaments. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm
last year
interested to see what your thoughts
OSU
on this
came
game
out there
are.
186,
I feel like the
74.
selection for this is going to be pretty easy, but
Yeah, I mean,
if you have
OSU,
anything to
like you
say.
said, we've had the upper hand the past, what is it, almost 20 years, which is oh my God. 2007 almost being 20 years is insane. Good Lord. Anyways, 18 years to be exact. But yeah, OSU just should have the more talent depth. ORU is coached very well, but just historically, it's going to be always OSU. So I could see, I'm really excited to see if our tempo and our pace is the same, like fast as it's been in the exhibitions, because we've been going crazy fast. So
Yeah. And what I've noticed is we really like it kind of plays into that playing fast thing. We love to run in transition, but we generate a lot of steals. And I don't know about you, but it honestly, watching that Auburn game reminded me a lot of a team that
it's
we
on
know a
your
lot
brain.
about in the NBA, that we're probably going to talk a lot about here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Oklahoma State.
I'll leave that one on your brain. My pick is Oklahoma State. Feels pretty obvious. Feels pretty obvious to pick Oklahoma State here, especially in Stillwater. Whenever we have a good team, that place is honestly one of the toughest places to play in the country and one of the coolest arenas I think around. So
Yeah, I think I got an
Pokes
easier
by
one.
90. That
We're going to be
one,
going
and that
to
one's
Kansas
probably going to be the
for
easiest
Green
pick of
Bay
the
versus
day.
Kansas.
So Q,
I
I'll
was
let you
talking
go
about
first
Kansas
with the ones you
before. I
want to
think they're
talk
going to be
about.
hungry. I think they're going to feel a little bit disrespected. Bill Self's coming off, I think, like a heart attack or two or more health scares. Anyways, I think he's going to be wanting to come back with a vengeance. Did you see preseason, him and the Louisville head coach, like, get into it? He, like, little broed him. That was so funny. I love Bill Self. Go Poke. Oh, yeah, he's back with the vengeance. He's back. But yeah, I think Kansas is going to come out
Yeah.
explosive. Green Bay,
Yeah,
obviously a smaller program.
he's got a little
Two
fire
Pokes, former
that you don't
Pokes. Doug
normally
Gottlieb
see.
is in year 2 now. He's a better podcaster than I would say coach, and that says a lot because he's a terrible podcaster. Yeah, I think Kansas wins by 40. I would take the cover. I think they like 4 and like 25. Yeah,
Yeah, wasn't Green Bay like one of
and
the
people and
worst
people
teams
and
in
people were
college
wanting
basketball
Doug
last
Gottlieb
season?
to be Oklahoma State's head coach. Just let that sink in.
Yeah, that's
And he still wanted the radio show.
impressively bad. We'll put it this way. Yeah, I never bought into that hype. I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, Kansas in that one by a very wide margin. Like you said, I think Bill Self is definitely going to try to fire up his guys. It's not very often that a Kansas team is ranked outside of the top 10 to start a season. And I think that just adds fuel to the fire
I mean, when
up
you
there in
play in
Lawrence.
the
They're
inventor of
perennially
basketball's
a national title
stadium, you
contender.
got or field house,
They
you
won
gotta have
one
some expectation.
a few years back, and
There's a reason you're called a basketball school.
yeah, you kind of gotta you got some history to back up on that one. So yeah, definitely, most definitely. So my first is going to be Lindenwood at Texas Tech. Nothing really big on this game. The main thing is Texas Tech is ranked number 10, and I think they're a team that could be a fringe national title contender. And I just think it's worth watching to see if they're really going to be
Yeah, he could have and got
about that hype.
undrafted.
JT
No,
Toppin
I'm not.
returned this season. Could have went to the
What
NBA
do you
draft.
what do you think he would have
For those
went?
that don't know, he's the younger brother of Obi Toppin. Surprised he returned.
Yeah, but if you can go back and
that
rise that
one's
stock
November
in a
4th.
not so loaded draft.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's at least a G League kind of guy.
Yeah, there's no like international stars.
That's true. I mean, he might
really,
legitimately
or like G
be
League
a top
or
10 pick because
overtime.
this class is very top heavy. Yeah. So like again, nothing really big on this one. Just I think worth watching to see how Texas Tech, if they're going to be a legit contender, and legit contenders go out and they play these teams and they beat them by 35. And I think if Texas Tech doesn't do that, then they're a team that you look at and like, are they really ranked? Should they really be ranked top 10?
Lions to cover. I think they're going to cover.
That one for me, easy pick, Texas Tech. I would assume you're the same.
I don't like Tech.
Think they cover. What's the line on that? I didn't even look. It's probably some outrageous number like 28.5. Probably didn't even want to make it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
Not worth it.
Here we go. Wait. Yep. Bet it. Put it in responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER. Bet responsibly.
Oh, well. Whatever the spread is, Q thinks they're going to cover it. Shout out the Lions, though.
1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, whatever the warning label is for that. Shout out 1-800.
My next game is going to be from the SWAC versus the Big Ten. We're going to go Jackson State
what's your next
versus
game
Illinois. Illinois is ranked number 17, has pretty high expectations. They're going to debut their Balkan 5. Have you heard about that? Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Illinois has all Europeans in their starting lineup.
Yeah, it's like all European.
They're taking over.
Or something like that. Yeah, that's weird.
They're taking over. Anyways, yeah, I think Illinois is probably going to try a lot of new combinations, but Jackson State, I think they're a very fiery, fast team. I think it could be a trap game. If Illinois can get into foul trouble, Jackson State can, I think, pounce, because if you're experimenting with new lineups, I don't think you have a lot of experience getting fouls and then trying to rotate in a game, but especially against a fast team like Jackson State. But I think Illinois is going to take it, unfortunately, but I think Jackson State will put up a good fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think Illinois, like you said, experimenting with rosters. I mean, this is about the only time you can do it because once you get into Big Ten play, you're playing a decent team every single night. But I honestly think, kind of like you, I think it'll be a close game. I think Jackson State will keep it around like 6 or 8 for most of the game, and then about that 8-minute timeout in the second half. Yep, we already got the joke, and we didn't even have to. What are we doing? What are we doing? Anyway, after like that 8-minute timeout in the second half, I think Illinois will slowly start to pull away. I think it ends up being Illinois by about 15, but
because they got those
definitely a game that could be one of those that you look back and you're like, how did Illinois lose this game?
Let it go.
But yeah, Fighting Illini. Still hate Brad Underwood though. Yep. Anyway, my next game, Robert Morris at Iowa, November 4th at 7:30. This one's on Big Ten Network. Iowa brings back a preseason All-American Bennett Sturts and also a transfer from Robert Morris, so playing his former team, Alvaro Fulgaris. Um, couple names to look out for, and that's a couple names to look out for in that one. Iowa, kind of a middle of the pack team in the Big Ten. They're not going to make a ton of noise in the postseason if they do even make it to March Madness, but they're not one of those teams that's at the bottom of the barrel where you're like, I think they should defund their program. And Robert Morris made the NCAA tournament last season, played number 2 seed Alabama, lost by 9 in that one. They had a really good showing. I thought they looked really good in that game, and I think there was points in that game. Had it gone their way, I think they might have won. Not sure exactly how many people they returned from that team, but it's worth mentioning that they are on the higher end of the mid majors, and I think going to Iowa, they have a chance similar to Jackson State to put Iowa in one of those trap situations. And if Iowa gets in foul trouble, I think their play style would lean more towards collapsing at the end of a game, and Robert Morris coming out on top in that one. So I'm gonna go Iowa in a very close game. I think this one stays like 4 points and it comes down to free throws. With that being said, I could definitely see Robert Morris coming out on fire from 3 or something like that and jumping out to like a 16-point lead in the first half and maintaining that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, another trap game, kind of a upset watch kind of thing.
All
but
right. So
my pick
for my
right
last
now
and final
is the
game,
Hawkeyes.
I'm going to be going with Villanova versus number 8 BYU. BYU is obviously having the projected top 3 pick, AJ DeBonsa. Villanova has a new head coach, Kevin Willard from Maryland, who also previously head coached at Seton Hall. Replaces Kyle Neptune, so we'll be seeing a new look Villanova. Villanova obviously is not your same old Villanova from 10 years ago. They miss Jay Wright. If they could, they would hire him immediately again for as much money and a blank check, but they can't. So they went with Kevin Willard, and we're going to see how that looks. I think ultimately BYU's home atmosphere, that crowd's going to be crazy with Mormons screaming, heck yeah. Yeah, I think BYU is going to take this one ultimately, but I think Villanova is going to be an interesting, fun watch with the new look, Kevin Willard. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a really good season last season with Maryland, finished as a number 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. But yeah, BYU, I think they just have too much talent to compare to Villanova. Like you said, Villanova is not the same team they were 10 years ago with the Nova boys, but BYU probably going to be one of the toughest places to play in the country this year. I mean, football, their stadium is packed every single week. They're ranked pretty high, and it's no different in basketball.
Heck yeah, man.
Coming into the season ranked number 8, you have a potential number 1 overall draft pick, and like you said, a whole bunch of Mormons up there screaming, heck yeah. And so I just think BYU by a decent margin, and Villanova's not a pushover by any means. They're still a team that you hear and you're like, hey, I recognize that name. But BYU, this is their chance to kind of ascend into that upper echelon of the Dukes and the Houstons of the world, where you're like,
BYU
hey,
by, I think,
this team might be young, but they're a team that can
away with it.
win.
What do you think AJ's
in the
stat line will be?
postseason? So my pick's BYU. I think 22 points and 8 rebounds and like 4 assists. I think he adds like 3 stocks. Probably won't shoot great from the field, but I think he'll get to the line a lot. So I think it'll be one of those games where he goes like 8 for 17 from the field and then adds on 8 free throws or something like that. My final game, Texas and number 6 Duke inside Cameron Indoor. That one's on Tuesday at 7:45. That's your ESPN. I'm pretty sure they still call it this the Sonic Blockbuster. Shout out Sonic. Shout out the state of Oklahoma. Another guy playing in this game that's potential number 1 overall pick, Cameron Boozer, obviously the son of longtime NBA veteran Carlos Boozer. I was going to say NBA legend, but that does not apply to Carlos Boozer in any way, shape, or form. And for
He
Texas,
got caught up.
Their new head coach, Sean Miller, couple stops at Xavier, And between those stints, he was at Arizona. He is one of the better coaches in the country, but I think Texas could probably do better solely because it's Texas. But I think he brings a lot to the table for them. All time, Duke and Texas have played 5 times. Duke has won all 5 games. This one being
Bye bye,
at
Rodney
Duke,
Taylor.
I think is no different.
Stupid glasses.
Texas, a team that was ranked top 25 for quite a few years in a row, few years back, now kind of on the outside looking in. On the outside looking in, they're kind of in that rebuild situation. And this game for them, I think, is more of a will show where they are in terms of their rebuild rather than, hey, we beat Duke. We're a title contender. No, they're not going to beat Duke.
Once
Not at
down,
Cameron. It's not going to
I'll pay the
happen.
fine. Pay the fine.
Devils by 15. And as always, we'll take the
Alrighty.
fine. Don't care.
Yeah, same thing. Horns down. I love Duke here. I think Kevin Boozer is going to absolutely just dominate this game.
What are your thoughts on that
I
one?
think the Duke crowd is going to be electric. I think, what is it? John Schneider? Is that his name? Or is it the Duke head coach? John Schneider. I like Shire. I like him. I think he's a good coach. But yeah, I think Duke by at least 10-15. At least.
Shire, Schneider, one of the two. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Most
yeah.
and honestly, I don't know how bold of a take this is, but on my draft board right now, I actually have Boozer at number 1. Obviously, a lot can change, but the top 3 for sure are locked in. I think it's a very top-heavy draft class.
So for this segment, everyone's favorite segment, we're going to be going with an NBA topic and NCAA topic. I have 2 for NCAA this week, but for NBA, what slow starting team will start to pick it up and make a run? So for context, Orlando is pretty slow starting right now. They are 2-3 in the West or the East, and they were looking to make a run. They have championship expectations. They made a pretty big trade for Desmond Bane, trading away. Who did they trade away? Gosh, it's gonna make me mad. Anyways, Dylan Brooks,
somebody.
What is his wingspan? Negative wingspan is shooting 20% from 3 this year, which is his career low through 4 games. It is 4 games, but or 5 games. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's not looking too good. Jamal Mosley has said the locker room feels unpolished and not together. So not the exact thing you want to hear through first 5 games. Banchero hasn't been playing to his best ability. I think he's been shooting, 40% from the field, you said?
Yeah, 40% and then 18% from 3. Yeah. It's by far the worst shooting year of his career so far. Small sample size, but like the games that I've watched, shot chucker. That's it. And like he's taking away a lot of the opportunities from guys like Franz Wagner and Desmond Bane.
It doesn't look like
and Bane like shouldered a lot of the offensive weight for the Grizzlies last season when John Morant was out. Like he's a guy that you would expect being on that Magic team that he's a guy that got added to a really strong defensive team last season that didn't bring a lot.
I was seeing people saying he was going to take a 28,
and
like almost
I
MVP
expected him to be
like
averaging somewhere around like 23.
But he is only
23 this season.
Season's just starting to.
Yeah. 23, 24, somewhere in there. He's still, I mean, younger in terms of the median age, but and I think probably for me it'd be the Rockets. They're 2-2 right now, and one of their losses, double overtime against the Thunder. They're still missing Fred VanVleet. They have some really solid pieces,
just on
but
that extension too.
Things just aren't exactly coming together for them right now. I think Kevin Durant's averaging 27 and a half something points per game, and obviously he's still KD. They, adding him, they were expected to be even better than they were last year, and they were the 2 seed. A lot of people were saying, hey, this team will probably win 60 games this season. But I think they're the team for me that will probably turn it around and end up, in that 58, 60 game wins. But I mean, the Magic, like you said, like we talked about this yesterday. I saw on TikTok, Magic are the first team to go all in and regress. But I just don't know. They're really solid defensively, but if they don't get it figured out on offense pretty soon, I would expect them to be looking at some trade options, early in the season. So you can't really say at the deadline, but I honestly feel like they might want to shake it up early. If they start this season like 5-12 or something like that, and like they're gonna have to, yeah, like that team should not be a
Absolutely.
play-in team by no means. I would think they would be like a 4 or 5 seed, especially with some of the key injuries in the Eastern Conference. But like
Yeah,
right
I
now,
agree.
they honestly barely even look like they're a play-in team, and it might be a stretch calling them one right now. That's a really
Got a
good
decent
question,
sample
and
size. Yeah.
like it's early enough in the season where you
Yeah.
can say they're a slow starter, but it's also
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna start cutting it
been
pretty
long
early
enough
when
into the
we have
season where
seven
you can
50
say
point
it's no
games
longer a
already in the
small
season.
sample
So
size. You're starting to get to that threshold of what teams are going to be like.
yeah, another team I think is Lakers. They're all right, I guess, with their
Yeah,
seeding right now,
this
3 and
season's
2.
been nuts already.
But they just don't look good to me. It's just a one man show between Luca, and if Luca's out, it's Austin Reeves, and that's about it. I mean, Rui gives you 12 points, sure, but DeAndre Ayton's over here going 6 for 10, or going 6 and 8. What are we doing? I mean, a former number one over Luca. Is that not crazy? They're on the same team now. That dude was picked over Luca Doncic.
Yeah,
He's on a minimum deal, and he's averaging like 6 points and 8 rebounds, and on terrible percentages.
yeah,
He's the
that's
Angel Reese. Put this on a
that's so
quote
weird to
graphic. He's
me.
the Angel Reese of the NBA. DeAndre Ayton is the Angel Reese of the NBA. You can quote me. So yeah, Lakers. Obviously, they're waiting for LeBron to come. Yeah.
I love that comparison. Yeah, the Lakers for me, like they have some offensive firepower, and yeah, like injuries with no Braun and Luca's in and out. Obviously, Austin Reeves has shown that he can score, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But they're just such a weird team for me defensively. You can score 130 every night if you wanted to, but if you're giving up 135, you're going to lose every game. So I think they need somebody that can serve as their defensive anchor. I honestly don't know if they have one of those guys on their team right now, at least that's stepping up into
Very
that
top
role.
heavy. Very
I
top heavy.
feel like they have some guys that would be capable of doing that, but as far as I've seen, they're really just
Not the same anymore.
trying to put
Not
the
the same NBA
showtime
anymore where you
in the
can't have a bench.
Lakers.
You got to
And
have a bench. You got to have
yeah,
at least
like
eight
you can
men that can
have
go
2
deep
or
if you
3
got them.
guys that can score 50 points on any given night. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no!
What have I done? What have I done? That might be the biggest pause in sideline media history.
Oh my god!
God.
Anyways, yeah, you
Somebody
gotta have a
clip that.
bench. You
Chat
gotta,
clip that. Oh
you gotta
my
have a roster
God.
now.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah.
Wow.
Lakers. I have another Q's questions for the NBA. Slow starting Cooper Flag. He had 27 last night. But obviously he has not looked like the superstar everyone's wanted or expected. He's been running point guard. We've seen how big point guard has been run in Jason Kidd's offense. They go 16 wins and end up drafting Jabari Parker with the number 2 pick, and then you get fired because you think Giannis can be a point guard. But this is what I think he gets for being part of a witchcraft deal. This has everything to
Yeah.
do with the inside of the NBA, deep state, all over it. Nico Harrison is a CIA operative, and I will stand by that. In all seriousness, 2% chance to get the number 1 pick.
Somebody
I don't know.
somebody on
Don't
that
know.
team
Up to
sold
me.
their soul, because how do you
Anyways,
trade away Luca and then get the
yeah,
number 1
Cooper.
pick?
I would
No
say
sense.
his threshold is pretty light because they're expecting him to be a superstar immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say he probably has the best-selling jersey for that team right now. I mean, when you look in the stands, it's all 32 jerseys. And Mavericks need to go back to their old color scheme.
Probably.
Green. Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you mean? Like the green and royal blue kind of thing? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and they're trying to pull out of the Stars playbook and say flag whenever they do the national anthem. I agree. Like they're trying to force him to be a superstar, all-star caliber player. I don't think he's fit to run point for them. There's clips running around and people making YouTube videos and TikToks and
He's not as
directly
fluid
comparing
as
him to
Luka.
Luka
Luka's like
in some of his play
fluid and
styles,
like
and some
you can
things are
tell
there,
Luka
but
can
I don't
already.
think there's enough
When he
there
was
where
a
you can be
rookie, you
like,
could
hey,
tell
this
he was going to
kid
be a star immediately.
should be the
Like
point guard.
no if there was no influidity or any of that. Luka was getting to his spots. He was doing everything he wanted, and he was skinny.
Yeah. Cooper has yet, other than maybe last night, he has yet to really get into like a flow or a rhythm. And as if you're running point guard for a team, you should probably be the first guy on the floor to get into that rhythm because everything stems from you. And as long as he's not into that flow,
Sorry, he
then
didn't. He didn't
guys
have
around him
27 points.
aren't
He
going
had
to play as
15 and
good as
10.
they should. And for that
I was
reason,
going off
I just
fantasy
feel like,
score.
for one, he's at the wrong position. And
That's not saying much.
well, then
DJ Edgecombe is the best rookie right now. It's not
that
even
makes sense.
close.
So, like,
It's not even close.
yes, he's still one of the best rookies, but yeah, easily. And honestly, he's probably one of the best, like, of the
Really?
guys that are in their second and third year as well.
All right, let's
And
name off some,
like
let's
that
name off some second
expectation,
and third year NBA players.
I think he's where on that
Okay,
list he would
his
fall, I don't
teammate,
know.
Jared McCain,
Where he would fall on that list, I don't know, but I feel like
Reed Shepard,
he's
Rob Dillingham, Cody Williams,
I feel like he's better than him
Modest Buzelis,
from what I've seen so far. Yeah.
Brandon Miller.
Probably not. Brandon Miller's a weird one because
Okay,
I
that's a hot
feel
take.
like, at least
Okay,
right now, yes, he's only
Paulo
played like 5
Banchero,
games, but I feel like he is better right now.
Scoot
Availability
Henderson,
is the best ability. And Brandon Miller is injured a lot. No.
Jabari Smith,
Yeah.
Andrew Nimhard. Whoa! No way! No
Yeah,
way!
I think so.
No way! I disagree on that one. Cason
Yeah.
Wallace,
Nimhard's like hit or miss this season.
Caden Sharp,
He's very hit or miss.
Tari Eason,
No.
Zach Edey,
Shaden
yeah,
Sharp.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those
Yeah.
are my NBA Q's questions. Now for the NCAA. Let me
Yeah.
get to my notes here. So, as pretty much I expect you all to know, college football has been a crazy year for head coaching landscape. So, with the coaching carousel has been crazy with the names jumping ship, surprise firings, record buyouts, all of that. Do you think there's any chance of this happening in the NCAA or any possibility of these record buyouts just in the middle of the season at all? Like, could we, I don't know, who just got hired at Texas A&M, Bud Williams? Could we see him if he starts off 5-11? Who knows? Boosters get mad. Time to go. And I think it's his first year there, but he's been there before. I mean, Dusty May is another one. If Michigan boosters aren't happy with what he's doing. Nate Oates, Alabama, I think they could also get frustrated. There are some names. I mean, ADs, I think the toughest job in the world right now is being an AD.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, the pressure you have right now, I mean, it's either put up or shut up every year. You're not getting paid. You're not doing your job. And you're not getting what you need.
Yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. And like,
Yep.
we've seen it a lot. There's a lot of situations, at least in football, the 80s the first to go before the coach. But as far as college basketball is concerned, it's a little bit different because you play so many more games and you kind of split evenly between your non-conference and your conference schedule as far as amount of games goes. So for that reason, I feel like you're going to see a lot less in-season buyouts or firings. There, you can start out 7-10 or 6-11 or something like that, and then you get into your conference play and turn it around, and all of a sudden you're 15-3 in your conference and like 24-18 overall, and you're talking about maybe being like a 4 or 5 seed. Things can change a lot. And I think in basketball, it's a lot tougher to, in the middle of a season, at least in college, have that transition. Whereas in football, you can pretty much everything is on the same system. Basketball, it may not be. An assistant coach may come in as an intern and completely change what they want to do, or maybe he sticks with the same system and it was the system that wasn't working rather than the coach. So basketball, the landscape's a little bit different. I do think we'll still see 2 or 3 big names go probably before conference games get started and before the new year starts, but
could you see it
I don't
getting
think it'll be as drastic.
like usually it's
and
around
as
after
deep of a
like
coaching
the
carousel, at least in the middle of the
tournaments or
season,
a little after the
like
tournament?
it is in college football.
Could you see it like happening a bit before that now, though? Like a little bit sooner now?
Yeah, I think the last couple seasons there's kind of been a trend towards conference tournament. And it's so weird because every conference is different. Like there's some conferences where only like 4 teams make their tournament, and then there's some where every single team from 1 through 16 is going to play in their conference tournaments. That if you're in one of those conferences where only the top 4, top 8 make it, and you're not one of those teams, I do think you can see a lot more happening then. But like last season, I felt like there was a lot during those conference tournaments where you have like a 6 or a 7 seed, and if you win 1 or 2 games in your conference tournament, I think you definitely will see a lot more. And as the years go on, I think it'll get earlier in the season. Like you might see someone get fired, like just for example, Bill Self. I don't think it would happen to him, but just in his example, I think you could see a Bill Self starting out 2-10 in Big 12 play and getting fired or something like that. So as the years go on, I think it'll just continue to get earlier and earlier. But I think at where we're at right now, it's probably either
Yeah,
early
I agree.
in conference tournament
So
weeks
kind of going
or
off that,
that space
last year,
between the end of the regular
UConn, it was
season and
obviously
conference tournaments.
not a pretty season, not what they wanted. They're trying to go back to back to back. The first team since the 1971-72 UCLA Bill Walton Bruins. Crazy. Dan Hurley last year, he talked about how he had some turmoil about wanting to leave, how he felt that in a book that he felt burned out, considered the Lakers job, considered resigning, and felt emotionally spent. That pretty much sounds like it's Final Four bust, championship or bust, or he's leaving, to me at least. I mean, if you're putting that much emotion, I mean, you're not trying to get out in the Sweet 16. You're not trying to get 32. So, I mean,
Yeah. I think for one, I mean for him, wasn't it his first 2
and
seasons at UConn, and they go
he's
back to back.
aggressive too. He trains himself. Like he
It's
goes hard.
very hard to continue that in college. For one, there's a lot of luck involved, but oh yeah, like you win back-to-back national championships in your first 2 seasons with a team. You now all of a sudden it goes from, oh well, we won one, that's cool and all, but now you've won 2 in a row, and that's your only sample size. Is why you're there. I'm a back-to-back national champion and I have 2 seasons under my belt. If you don't get that third, then it's kind of almost a reset, and you got to get not necessarily back to basics, but back to where you were before that first season started. You no longer have that back on your mind. You no longer have necessarily a championship expectation, but they are ranked 4th. So they're definitely in that conversation. But I'm probably with you. I think if they're not at least an Elite 8 team, then he probably
I mean, yeah, because he's pretty much
starts
done it all
thinking
already.
like, hey,
Unless he wants to be the next,
is this really the job
John
I
Wooden.
want? Is there something better out there? Maybe there's an NBA job that opens up
I don't think
and he
can
makes
be
that
in
jump.
this morning.
Yeah. So our next segment will be the NBA power rankings, our personal NBA power rankings. We're going to give you a top 10. Obviously very subjective. It's early in the season, and this is not us ranking who the top 10 title contenders are. So there's going to be some teams in here you're like, why are they in the top 10? Yep. It's because they're winning right now. And that's it. Simple as that. My top 10 start at number 1. Obviously, the Thunder, best record in the league, 6-0, defending champs. Not much else to say about it. It's pretty simple. Number 2, San Antonio. They're 5-0, and Wemby is playing out of his mind. Honestly, surprised that they're still undefeated. I thought they would at least start the season with 1 or 2 losses, but this is their best start in probably 15 years. So, they're a team to look out for in the Western Conference. At 3, I have Chicago. They're 4-0. Probably not a team that you're going to look back and say, yeah, they were a top 10 team all season. No, they're honestly just on a lucky streak right now. Kind of similar thing with the Sixers. They're 4-0. I have them at number 4, the last undefeated remaining of the 4 teams that I've already said. And, we talked about VJ Edgecombe quite a bit earlier. Tyrese Maxey has been playing well to start the season. Do I think that they're going to be better? Yes. I still don't think that they're one of those teams that can win the Eastern Conference right now, but they're in the right direction, at least from what they have been the last couple seasons. At 5, I have Golden State. They're 4-2. Not much to say about them. I mean, their schedule hasn't been amazing, so that plays a lot into it. But Steph's always going to be Steph, and Jimmy Butler, who now is tied for 3rd, I think, or maybe stands alone in 3rd for most 25-5 games by a Warrior since 2020. considering he hasn't been there for a full year, is pretty impressive. So
Done more than some bucket.
something to look out for in the West with Golden State. At number 6, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, anytime Giannis is on your team, you're going to be a pretty good squad. They're 4-1 right now. Pretty simple schedule thus far, but as NBA Cup starts tonight, and they've won it last season, we're in the semifinals for it in its inaugural season, and they're always going to be a title contender as long as Giannis is still Giannis. Miami is my number 7. They're 3-2. I was kind of on the fence with them. I didn't know if I should have them at 7 or 8, and I honestly still don't. They're, to me, like, they're right now power wise right neck and neck with Denver, who's 3-1. I have them at number 8. Kind of the same thing as a lot of other teams. As long as Jokic is on your team, you're going to be a title contender. And they went out and got Cameron Johnson, who I don't think we've seen a full power Denver Nuggets yet. And to me, it always seems like they play better whenever they're playing the good teams anyway. So some of their losses, like they'll lose to the Pelicans or something like that, and you're like, what happened? But then they go out and beat Boston the next night. So they definitely for sure play up to their competition, I think. At number 9, Cleveland, weird team for me. Won the regular season East last season, and I think fell well short of their expectations in the playoffs. I predicted them to at least make the Eastern Conference Finals, and they didn't. And I think this season is one of those like conference finals or bust type seasons. And if that doesn't happen, then I think you start seeing a little bit of shakeup coming on their roster. So interesting team for me. I still think they'll finish top 3 in the East. They have plenty of talent to do it, but I feel like they should not be 3-2 right now. They started the season 15-0 last season, so I feel like already they're a little bit short of what their expectation was coming into this season, but obviously a lot can change in the next 2 weeks. They can go on an 8-game winning streak. You never really know. And rounding out my top 10 is Detroit. Their schedule's kind of been all over the place. They've played a couple good teams, played a couple bad teams. They're 3-2 right now. And I think they're one of those teams that, since there's some pretty big injuries in the East, like Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum, guys like that, I feel like this is a season where Detroit, if they can get something going early, they could be looking at a 3 seed come playoff time. And I feel like if there's any season to capitalize on that, it should be this one. Not the greatest start in the world, but at the same time, only 5 games in, kind of similar to Cleveland, they can go on a 5-game winning streak and all of a sudden be sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference. So Cade been playing pretty good to start out. He's had a couple games where, I think he could have capitalized a little bit more. Shooting efficiency is not exactly there, but he's still dishing out the assists like you normally see from him. And that team lost a couple guys that played a lot of big minutes for them last season and really added a veteran presence that team needed. And now some of their younger guys are becoming aged veterans in the league, and I think they're 2 or 3 years away and maybe one more piece away from really being like a true title contender. So that's my top 10. I'll run through it one more time. Thunder, Spurs, Bulls, Sixers, Warriors, Bucks, Heat, Nuggets, Cavs, Pistons. And, for me, I think right now it's going to take a lot
100%.
to dethrone the Thunder.
Yeah, I'm right with you with number 1, 6-0, best team in the world, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Whoever broke into Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's house, I am coming for you. You better be scared. You better be ready. If you're not, that's even better.
Yeah, we're sending the dogs.
It's unacceptable. We do not attack the king of Oklahoma. We do not do that. So he wants to move to Toronto or whatever. What are we doing? You fucking hooligans. Excuse my French. Good Lord. Anyways, at number 2, I have Philadelphia 4-0. They're obviously hot start. They haven't really played anyone though. Tyrese Maxey has had a great start of the season. Paul George looks like he's going to retire in the next year or 2. That dude can barely move. Joel Embiid, he's expressed concerns about how he doesn't like his minutes restrictions. Well, yeah, you can barely
He also
do a
can't
3-point stance and breakdown when you go to try to defend. Let's calm down. Anyways, number 3, 3-1 Golden State. Hate to say it, but they are looking very good. Their bench is a lot deeper than I thought it was. Buddy Hield being that 6-man is really good spark plug. Moses Moody sometimes Kaminga. They have a very good facilitating lineup where they can switch out lineups, which will be very good for the season and the postseason if they can get there. Number 4, I have the Bucks at 4-1. It's Giannis, if I could say it any better. They haven't really played anyone either. Number 5, I have the San Antonio Spurs, 5-0, franchise's best opening stretch ever. Victor Wembanyama is one of the
Wembanyama.
craziest things I've ever seen with my 2 eyes. He looks like a 2K player. I don't know if it's sustainable for a full 82 game stretch. They're also dealing with injuries with De'Aaron Fox. I don't know when he's supposed to be back. They do have a lot of depth with Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson. They are very deep as well. They don't really have the center depth, Luke Cornett, I guess, but yeah, San Antonio Spurs are your 5th. Number 6, I have the Denver Nuggets sitting 3-1. Former champion, stable core, new head coach for the first season, Adelman. Cameron Johnson is now here, basically the same player as Michael Porter Jr. We'll see. 3-1. 7, I have the Chicago Bulls, probably the most surprising team of the year this easily. 4-0. I honestly did not expect this at all. Modest Buzelis is looking like a most improved player of the year, as long with our boy AJ Mitchell for the Thunder. I don't think they can carry this out for a long stretch. I could definitely see them going on a skid like right after this game. They have the 76ers coming up. That is number 7. Number 8, I have I have the Cleveland Cavaliers at 3-2. I think they got to make a move. I think Jarrett Allen might have to get traded. I just think he's not sustainable for a long season, and the playoffs, he's shown that he cannot really show up. Yeah, exactly.
The
I
lights were
like
brighter than
Kenny
expected.
Atkinson. I think he's a great head coach, but I don't think Jarrett Allen fits into that system. I think they need like a Wendell Carter Jr. type of power forward or big man where they can switch out more with Evan Mobley, be more agile, spread the floor, run faster, something like that. Let's see. Number 9, I have the Heat. One of the weirdest teams year after year. They're somehow always just sustainable because they're in the East and they have 2 good 3 players to back on. I don't know. I guess. Yeah. They're sitting 3-2. Trailblazers. Without a head coach, Chauncey Billups in the ring. They're top 10 in the defense and offense right now. They're looking good. They're number 5 in the West. I don't think it's sustainable, but hey, it's the top 10 of the first week. So yeah, obviously tier 1, it's OKC, light years, tier 2, and then below. But yeah, that's my power rankings for this week. We'll see how it differs from next week. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see a lot of movement. Some of like the Bulls and the Sixers, I do not expect them to be undefeated next time we talk. I would probably expect the Cavs to be a little bit better, but other than that, like no one's going to move the Thunder out. The Spurs honestly will probably stay inside the top 10 for a majority of the season, in my opinion. Same thing with the Warriors. But I did have a question, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Kobe White, I think, is on the last season,
I believe so,
of his deal, and there's a little bit of buzz about him possibly getting traded.
And him and Vucevic.
So the Bulls don't have to contend with losing him in the offseason. Yeah. So if, like, say the Bulls continue on their run and we get to Christmas and the Bulls are sitting at like 2nd or 3rd in the East, what's their move? Because we all know if they go on a skid and, become the normal Chicago Bulls, he's probably out. Okay. So like I was saying, if the Bulls are actually decent by the end of this year, by the end of this calendar year, does Kobe White get moved? Or do they attempt to keep him for the rest of the season and then just bet on him staying?
I think the most likely is, betting on him. And then I think the most likely person getting moved is Nikola Vucevic and Patrick Williams. So, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I don't think the trade deadline is going to be anything crazy unless Giannis gets moved. If Giannis gets moved, it's going to be bonkers.
Yeah. Like, I feel like that would kind of just open it up. Like, whatever goes at that point, kind of similar to Luka's situation. So that's our power rankings. Again, obviously, early in the season, a lot can change, a lot will change. Of that top 10 that we had, there might only be 3 teams that are the same come the end of the season. Who knows? Take those with a grain of salt. And again, they are power ranking. That we are not ranking title contenders.
Yep.
The Chicago Bulls are not a title contender. You heard it here first.
Agreed.
Next segment. So our new one, Sideline Media Standouts. The Sideline Standouts. We're going to give you 5 players and their performances from the last week or whatever it is. And then at the end, we're going to give you what we think the best performance was. So I think this will be a fun segment. And already, I mean, we have a little bit bigger of a range
We're
to
gonna
go
make
off of.
story
We have like,
polls. We're gonna make story polls, and
I like that.
y'all can vote as well.
So a little bit bigger sample size to pull from
Here's what we're gonna do.
for this episode.
We're
Okay.
gonna go head to head. So you'll go one, and I'll pick one that I think will match yours, and then we'll put that on the story, and we'll let other people vote. How about that?
Okay. I like that. I like that.
Okay.
Write down which one we're going. Just put the name down and obviously we'll know which one it is. So
Yeah.
So my first is going to be Giannis against the New York Knicks. This was on October 28th. Giannis had 37 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, and 3 stocks. If you don't know what a stock is, that is blocks and steals combined. And he shot 16 for 22 from the field. And obviously the Bucks won that game. Toku, what do you have to contend with that?
Well, I got the 40-plus opener for Tyrese Maxey and the 76ers. I think he was absolutely bomb. He also had 12 assists, 3 steals, 2 rebounds, but he's a point guard. But he also got VJ Edgecombe 32 points in his debut, which is also awesome. So I think Tyrese Maxey. I think that's a good head-to-head matchup.
I like that. Yeah, it is. My next one, Cade Cunningham against the Orlando Magic. And this one happened a couple days ago on the 29th. Cade a double-double, 30 points, 6 boards, 10 assists, 3 blocks, and 3 steals. And very cherry-picked stat here, but the first 35, 10, 3, and 3 game since Cavs LeBron. So
what do you think? Which Cavs LeBron do you think?
And that's in the Eastern Conference, by the way. What?
Which LeBron do you think? First stint or second stint? I bet it's 2018 LeBron.
I was most definitely 2018 LeBron. But it is honestly kind of wild that no one in the Eastern Conference since then has had that kind of. Obviously, very cherry picked, but I think 24.
Good Lord.
Still a long ways to go, like his efficiency, but his tools to be a playmaking shot creator type point guard.
Coach.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think JB's a very good coach. All right.
I think he's okay, but.
So for mine against that, I'm going to go for Jaylen Brown, bald comeback versus the Cavs. 30 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 135 to 117 W against the Cavs. Big win for the Celtics in the early. That's probably their biggest game of the year so far. So Jaylen Brown, if you haven't seen it, he has a bunch of stuff in his hair and it keeps wiping off on players. Actually, they played the Pistons, so either one was a pretty good game. But
he has a painted on hairline. Yeah, and JB's going to have to do a lot for that Celtics team this season. They're going to miss Tatum for a lot of the year, maybe all year. Yeah. Which, if you've been paying attention to social media, Tyrese and Tatum, like they're 4 months into their recovery from a torn Achilles, and Tyrese posted a video the other day. He's already dunking.
Like the technology we have now, like is it just not the same?
Yeah,
like recovering. Yeah,
that's crazy. Most definitely. But it is still wild to think that someone can tear their Achilles at the end of one season and then play in the next. Like 10 years ago, that wouldn't have even been thought about.
A year or 2 at least.
Yeah. My next one, I'm gonna go Austin Reeves, 50 ball against the Kings, 51 points, 11 boards, 9 assists, so near 50-point triple-double. Also had it on 2 steals, and he went 6 for 10 from beyond the arc. Who knew the AR-15 had it in him? 50 ball. No Luka, no LeBron, no problem.
This guy. All right, well, to that, I raise you a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander career high 55 point, 8 rebound, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. 15 for 31. 23 of 26 from the free throw line. I mean, got the W, beat the Pacers. What more can you ask for?
Absolute thriller of a game, too.
Best game of the year so far.
Absolutely. And then Thunder Rockets a close second.
Yep.
So my next one's going to be Lauri Markkanen, who we'll probably talk about a little bit. Some trade rumors around him. Very low chance he'll end the season in Utah. But anyway, against the Suns, he had 51 points, 14 boards, and 3 blocks, went 6 for 13 from 3, and 17 for 17, 100% from the free throw line.
I didn't see anything about that on social media. Ridiculous. All right, to that I raise you a Chet, 18 point, 11 rebound, 3 assist, 4 block game against Dallas. Took over that game, was great in the first half, kind of dwindled down towards the second, but did what he needed to do.
I like it. It's like not a high points game, but it's very all around stat line.
Yeah.
And I can always appreciate those. My last one actually isn't one specific stat line. It's just you go look at his stats and literally pick any game, and bar for bar, he's probably going to go up with any of the best stat lines so far. Victor Wembanyama this season, averaging 30.2 points, 14.6 boards, 3.4 assists, 1.5 steals, and 4.8 blocks a game, shooting 60% from the field, and literally does something every single game that makes you wonder, like, if this dude was actually built in a lab or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff this dude does on the court at his size is just stupid. I mean, he's 7'4", handles the ball like he's a guard, can put anybody on a poster, will grab every single rebound if he has to, is one of the best rim protectors ever, and he's only in his third season. And
he stays every year he's gonna win Defensive Player of the Year. It's not even gonna be close.
I mean, I someone's gonna have to come along and average like 5 steals and 5 blocks to even come close, I feel like. Because it's not even the stats. It's just the gravity during games. Like, there is guys that will completely disregard going in the paint as long as he is there. And like some of his moves, getting layups from 15 feet out and shooting from the logo, like, stuff's ridiculous.
2 dribbles from coast to coast. Fucking insane. And to that, I have the guy that did go runner-up to last year in Defensive Player of the Year, and probably will be for the next coming years. Dyson Daniels, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals and 3 blocks against the Nets. I mean, just an absolute clinic on the defensive side. Did what he had.
Welcome back. Obviously recording this on a different day. Shout out technical difficulties. So it's now November 1st. Hope everyone had a great and safe Halloween. Happy November. We are 2 months away from 2026. That's kind of wild. Q's currently watching the Vandy game. Shout out the Commodores.
Go Vandy.
Top 10.
Hey, you know what it is.
Yeah. So quick rundown of some games last night. NBA Cup tipped off. Hawks beat the Pacers. Pacers dropped to 0-5. Jalen Johnson 22, 13, and 8. Celtics win a close one, 109-108, and defeat the undefeated 76ers. So 76ers no longer undefeated. Jaylen Brown, 32 points, 6 assists. Tyrese Maxey, 26, 8, and 14. Raptors beat the Cavs. Cavs are now 3-3. And we talked a little bit about them earlier on. Evan Mobley, though, 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals. Good game for him. Bulls beat the Knicks to stay undefeated. Josh Giddey, almost a triple-double, 32, 10, and 9. Lakers beat the Grizzlies. Luka Doncic, 44 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. Lakers are now 4-2, and they're actually 3-0 on the road. So 3 of their 4 wins have come away from LA so far. Suns beat the Jazz by 22. Lauri Markkanen had 33 points for Utah. Devin Booker, a good game, 36, 6, and 9. Trailblazers surprised the Nuggets. And Q, we kind of talked about Portland a little bit in your power rankings. They're 4-2 now, and like they somewhat look like maybe a fringe playoff play-in team, at least right now. Obviously a long way to go, but Denny Avdia, 23 points for them. And then in the last game last night, the Clippers, I'm sure everyone saw Kawhi's buzzer beater to beat the Pelicans. Pelicans fall to 0-5. Jordan Poole, 30 points, and Kawhi, 34 points, 6 steals, and a game winner. And one of the worst game-winning celebrations that we've ever seen. So
awful. Absolutely terrible.
Pretty good slate last night. And like NBA Cup, it adds a little bit of playoff atmosphere. I think some of the games last night were kind of bad. The courts, there's some I like, and there's some I'm like, all right, bro, we're just like doing too much. But
the Clippers one was awful.
Yeah, Clippers was bad. Like Memphis's was okay, and I thought Philadelphia's was okay. But yeah, there's some that it just too much, bro.
Yeah.
hurt my eyes. But no real thoughts on the games last night other than Sixers no longer undefeated. The Pacers, I saw a stat last night or this morning, and Pacers are one of very few teams to start the season 0-5 after making the finals the season before. And
Yeah.
Bulls stay undefeated. Pelicans 0-5. A couple good games, nothing extremely crazy, but Luka with the 40 ball. If you have any thoughts, go ahead.
If
There's
you're
not really much
Cleveland,
else to say
if you're
about these games, I
Cleveland,
don't think.
do you make a call to New Orleans for Zion?
I would assume Jared Allen's involved in that deal.
Jared Allen. I'd like to say Darius Garland, but they have way too many guards in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah,
idea then.
I don't know. I think it's a possibility. I do
I think
think
Zion
that
might be
Evan
the biggest
Mobley,
gamble.
yeah, I could see that. I think with that move you get to shift Evan Mobley to the 5, and like Zion's not an amazing 3-point shooter, but it does give them a couple more options spreading the floor wise, and
And he
I
could
think
run down
last
the
year that was
court.
one thing. Yeah. So they'll gain a lot of speed, and one thing they did last season, like, yeah, on defense, having 2 7-footers in there is great. Thunder, for example, but the Thunder also do a great job of running in transition, and Isaiah Hartenstein being a really good passing big helps them out in that aspect, whereas Jared Allen's just kind of your more stereotypical NBA center uh, from
Heavy ass.
10, 15 years ago. So having Mobley at the 5 in that aspect, I think would help them out a lot. I could definitely see that move happening. I do think that is a real possibility, and I would definitely think, especially if Cleveland continues to drop some of these games that they probably should win, I think it's something that might pick up some traction here in the next 2-3 weeks, and I'm sure we'll be paying attention to that. Everyone's got their Shams notifications on. Please bring Woj back, please.
Whoa.
Whatever, same difference.
That's now you can't disrespect them and then call him
I've heard people call him Woj.
No one's ever called him Woj.
I've
Ever.
heard a ton of people call him Woj, but for the sake of this podcast, we'll go with Woj.
It's always Woj bomb.
We missed the Woj bombs. See, I've
You
heard
ever heard
people
of
call it a
Woj
Woj
bomb?
bomb. I've heard it.
No way.
All right. Well, that I will take that one. That is on me. I'm wrong, and I apologize to Woj and everyone else out there that is a huge Woj fan. So that one's on me. I'll take full blame for that. So we'll go into our next segment. This is our final segment of the episode, the Full Court 5 NBA edition. And again, 2 games that we both are going to talk about, and then 3 each that we picked on our own. And we'll give you our picks for those games. Take them with however you want to. You can take them and bet with them. You can just be like, damn, these dudes suck at picking games, whatever. It does not matter. So our first game that we both went for, Mavericks Rockets. This one is on November 3rd. And the Rockets are supposed to be a good team, haven't been great to start the season, but me personally, I think being in Houston will help them a lot, and obviously in-state rival. Dallas, weird team for me. They're missing a lot of guys, so they're definitely not at full strength, but we talked a lot about Cooper Flag earlier, and I think just the overall firepower of Houston will get the job done in that one.
Yeah, we got the battle of I-45 here. Rockets already currently lead the regular season series 105-96. I mean, yeah, Dallas has got high expectations for the season, so do the Rockets. Both have the firepower. Anthony Davis is now out, though, for the next 2 games with an oblique strain, so he'll probably be out for this game. Mavericks, though, their strengths is, I believe their bench is a lot deeper than the Rockets, a lot more fluid. I think their rotations are better. So Rockets, though, their youth and speed, I think can maybe get out, run, but we'll see how that goes with the Rockets. I'm not really convinced with the rotations that Ime Udoka has put out this year, so I don't think he's that good of a coach, but we'll see. Also, Tari Eason will be out for this game. There'll be some depth issues, defensive lapses. Their roster's just never fully healthy. There's always 1 or 2 pieces missing. So
Yeah.
I think this is a good test for Dallas. Also, I think Houston needs this. I think Hungry Dog runs faster, so I think Houston might pull this one out. Amin Thompson or Kevin Durant's going to have a big night. I'm not convinced Reed Shepard's a good enough player to play 20 plus minutes a night yet because his defense is atrocious. It's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, and
So
with Van Vliet out, like they're experimenting so much trying to find a point guard because Amon's been running a lot of the point, and he's naturally to me a forward, and
yeah,
like defensively that lineup's great, but in order to win in the NBA, I feel like at least in the playoffs, you have to have a guy that you can go to in crucial situations to at least bring the ball up the court. Once you get it across half court, you can kind of do whatever. But until they have either Fred VanVleet back or someone on their roster that can consistently run the point for 28 minutes a game, Houston's going to have problems winning, 5 games in a row. And
yeah,
at least right now, that's something they need to get to where they're supposed to be expectation wise.
yeah.
Next game, OKC Thunder at the LA Clippers in the Intuit Dome. Clippers last night went on a buzzer beater, and Kawhi, again, terrible celebration. Thunder, best team in the league, obviously 6-0. And J-Dub saw the news yesterday. He underwent a procedure to get a screw that was, I guess, causing some issues taken out, and he'll be reevaluated. I think it said 10 to 14 days. So at least another 2 weeks for him. But, the Thunder, even without him, still playing their game. They have a lot of depth, probably the deepest team in the NBA. Jay Mitchell is easily, to me, the most improved front runner. And, there's already some buzz about him pretty much locking up the award. Obviously, way too early to say that. But as far as I'm concerned, him and Buzelis in Chicago are probably the front runners for that.
You know what
And
team traded us that pick to draft him?
I don't remember.
Clippers. The Clippers. This is the Heat's pick.
It was?
And they traded this involving
Wow.
in the Paul George. Yes.
Interesting. So
who
that
won the
Clippers
trade?
trade actually ended up in Shea, J-Dub, Chet, or not Chet, Shea, J-Dub, and AJ Mitchell. And I think there was another couple guys that came out of that were picked. I feel like Aaron Wiggins was a part of that, Trey Mann. So yeah, and if anyone out there watched Starting Five on Netflix, Shea talked about, somebody asked him about playing the Clippers, and he straight up said, he said, I can't lie, I get up a little bit for those Clippers games. So this one, to me, easy pick. The Clippers are a good team, but no one in the league right now can match what Oklahoma City has depth-wise and superstar-wise. And so for that reason, the Thunder stay undefeated. Coaching-wise, definitely.
Front office-wise, and fan environment-wise, and
franchise-wise.
We're just better than all of you. Sorry, not sorry. Anyways, yeah, their most recent matchup, March 23rd, day after the boys' birthday. OKC beat the Clippers 103-101. That was extending our winning streak to 23 at the time. I mean, yeah, the Thunder are now we are now the proven team. We're the dogs in the front, leading the pack, and the Clippers are just trying to prove that they can hang with us. So we'll see how it goes. Really, really wish we're at full strength. This is pretty odd to see the Clippers at full strength. I'm not gonna lie, especially this early in the season.
So and as old as they are.
Yeah. They'll probably get some load management that night, though. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be much of a game. I think Thunder win this 10, 15 points. Yeah, I think Shea's going to come out 40 plus easy. I think the bench is just going to be too much of a factor. I think Tyronn Lue, his transitional offense, his sets is not very good, and the Thunder love taking turnovers on that and making buckets into that. So I think they'll feast on that. And the Thunder also lead in OKC in pace this year. Again, for the last 3 years, they've been leading it. So, yeah, I think the Thunder win this in a rout pretty easy.
I agree. So now the games that we individually selected, Q, if you want to go ahead and give me your first one, we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I got the Golden State Warriors versus the Indiana Pacers. We just talked about the Pacers on a skid. They were 0-4, now 0-5, coming up against they look pretty good, look pretty gelled. They're looking like they got their swagger back a little bit. 4-2 Warriors. Draymond Green and Stephen Curry are questionable, so we will see. Draymond Green, I think, is more not questionable. He's he's doubtful, so we'll see on that.
So probably
game time decision.
Curry's just straight up questionable.
Yeah, but I think he's been questionable for all the games and just playing because he's just old.
Yeah.
Warriors, I think, look like one of the best teams in the NBA, either conference. They're coached very well. They know what they're doing. They have the experience. They have the depth. Now they just have to see if it gels, and it seems like it's been gelling pretty well. Come Bucket seems to get his attitude right. I don't know if he'll be moved at the deadline. I mean, if he does, they'll just get more pieces, I assume. So that can't help
Mhm.
or hurt, I suppose, except the chemistry. But yeah, Pacers just, whew, they look rough. Pascal Siakam, though, is just leading the charge, averaging 27 points, 10 and a half rebounds, 7 assists. I thought Andrew Nimhard was going to be most improved player. That was my dark horse,
Yeah.
but he's not taking the leap I thought he would. So we'll see. But yeah, but what to watch? I guess the Pacers' ability to always use their tempo. They love using that tempo, run down the court whenever they can, try to get you tired. And Warriors are older, so we'll see if that affects them at all with their sets or rotations or anything like that. But I do think Golden State too much, especially at home. They're going to take this game probably pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Pacers obviously like I think last night they were missing 7 players and they're kind of in a similar situation to what Memphis was in pretty recently in that they're kind of just putting to putting together a team so they can play the games, but like Steph and Draymond being questionable, even if they are out, I don't think that moves the needle for me in any way. The Pacers are due to win
They
at
honestly
some
might
point.
sit them. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
They might.
yeah. I could definitely see that. The Pacers are due to win at some point, but I just don't see this being that game for them. Warriors, like you said, one of the best teams in the league right now, and whenever they're fully healthy, I think if we get to the end of the season and they are healthy, I think that's a team that honestly, if being an OKC fan, I would not want them to be in that 4 seed. I would much rather see them in the Western Conference Finals than I would in the conference semifinals. Because it's similar to last year. If we saw Denver in the conference finals instead of the semifinals, I'd have been much happier. But yeah, Golden
Yeah.
State, one of the best teams in the league, and they have one of the best players in the league for the last 10, 15 seasons on their roster. And as long as you have Jimmy Butler, Steph, they're going to go out and win games for you. And I think this is a scenario where even though they're missing a couple key guys, you still have some guys that can go win a game for you. And I think Golden State gets it done.
Yeah. Golden State's.
Yeah. So my first one that I picked, Rockets and Celtics. This one's actually tonight. Already talked a little bit about the Rockets. No point guard, rotations a little bit wonky. Udoka's, I agree with you. He's not that great of a coach, at least for this team. Celtics, they're missing some key pieces, but Jaylen Brown has been playing like the star in Boston. And I think this is one, if both teams are 100% healthy, I think this is a game that you look at and say, hey, this has really big implications. This is two of the best teams in the league, but it's a little bit watered down with some of the injuries that have happened. This one's in Boston. Houston, weird team. They're good, but I think being in Boston, the Celtics have a little bit one of the best home court advantages in the league, and I think for that reason they take this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jaylen Brown's just gonna feast, especially if Reed Shepherd is playing more than 20 minutes. He's gonna take him to the post, just make him feel like a little boy. Amin Thompson is probably gonna have that matchup though. We'll see. Not really anyone else he should be guarding. Reed Shepherd probably will be guarding Peyton Pritchard though. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Jaylen Brown's going to go probably for 30 plus. Kevin Durant, I don't know, man. He's so wishy-washy this year.
He's up and then he's down. Like I think he's had 2 games in the high 30s and then 2 in the teens. And like
Yeah,
he's averaging 27, but it's not a consistent 27. It's a
there's no
35
chemistry
here
on
and an
that team
18
yet,
there.
and you can tell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Boston wins this pretty easily. Ime Udoka hopefully doesn't sexually assault any Celtics players back there, but we will see. Yeah, let's go
Yep.
Celtics.
So what's your next one?
So for my next one, Bucks versus Pacers. I'm on a Pacers hate watch this week. Bucks obviously are one of the best teams in the NBA right now, with Giannis Antetokounmpo leading the charge. I also do not think they are anything to be scared of in the Eastern Conference unless they make a big move. That roster is, I don't know how Giannis is going to stay. I'd welcome him with open arms to Oklahoma City, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Pacers, we just talked about him. We'll see how Pascal does. He'll probably get another good 2010 game, but I don't think it'll be enough. Giannis will probably get a 40-20 game and win by 10 points. So, yeah, I think the Bucks are too much here and beating the Pacers to bring them to 0-6. And maybe some talks about some movement in the Pacers team. So, we'll see about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And a Miles, what's his name?
Turner,
Miles Turner revenge
the
game.
comeback. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much gonna mirror exactly what you said. The Bucks, to me, easily gonna win this one. The Pacers don't have a center, as far as I'm concerned.
Thomas
Probably gonna
Bryant,
be
bro.
Pascal.
Isaiah Jackson.
Isaiah Jackson. Shout out Isaiah Jackson, 2K Jokic stopper. Anyway, I just think that Giannis himself is so much gravity that um and the Pacers really don't have anything capable of stopping that. I'm kind of like you. I probably could see a 40-20 game from him. Pascal will probably do his thing, but overall, Bucks too much to handle. Did you see the other day Kyle Kuzma guarding Karl Anthony Towns, and Cat was trying to post him up, and it was pretty much a DeMarcus Cousins situation. Like there was he got no space, nothing. Kyle Kuzma still sucks. He made Karl Anthony Towns look very bad. But yeah, Bucks not really a threat in the Eastern Conference without a major move. Giannis, like you said, don't understand why he's still in Milwaukee, but you know, as long as you have him on your team, you can technically consider yourself a title contender. But this is like a brewing rivalry, I think. And if
Yeah, they
both
don't
teams are
like each
fully
other.
healthy, and they definitely don't. If both teams are fully healthy, I think this is a really good game. But Indiana missing so many key pieces, I think Bucks win this one easily, probably 15, 20 points.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I have on that one. My next one is going to be the Detroit Pistons at Memphis. Detroit, weird team for me. We talked a little bit about them yesterday. They're, with some of the injuries in the East, they should be a team that's, you know, looking at a 2, 3, 4 seed somewhere in there. They're not exactly playing like it. They lost a couple guys over the offseason that contributed a lot to their success last season, but Cade Cunningham, I think he has a lot to go in terms of efficiency. He's a great facilitator for them, and it's fine to go out and get 30 points and 10 assists every night, but whenever you're doing it shooting below 50%, I think, from the field.
And having 7 turnovers.
Yeah. So Pistons, a weird team for me. Same thing with the Grizzlies.
I also don't think
they're
Bickerstaff
very
is
off
a
and on.
coach, though.
Yeah.
I did say that.
Grizzlies are also kind of off and on. They're another team fully healthy, should be a playoff team in the West. This year, maybe not. West is extremely deep, but this game, I'm going Pistons. It's in Memphis, but I think Detroit finally has a game where they can say, hey, let's go out there, beat them by 15, and say, hey, we're actually for real. And I think that honestly will happen, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, it's one of the weirder teams, and I don't think Bickerstaff is that good of a coach. I've said it. I'll say it again. There's a reason he got fired from Cleveland, and Cleveland got better. Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about them. I am going to take the Pistons, though. I just can't trust, really, what they're doing over there. So we'll see how the Pistons do. I think they should they could make a trade for Zion. I would like that.
Yeah.
Him and Jalen Duren would be absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that'd be a disgusting front court.
For my next game, I got Oh, yeah.
If that move did happen, where would they rank in terms of front courts in the East?
Cat and OG are front court, right?
I think OG plays the 4.
I think they would be 1 for me.
And then probably Cleveland at 2.
No.
Offensively, probably not. I think defensive prowess helps them a little bit.
Yeah.
They may not be number 2.
Yeah, I put them 2.
But I think with Zion, the Pistons would have a really good case at being having the best front court in the East.
Yeah. The most explosive for sure.
Yeah, like that's all speculation, so we can move on.
But yeah, my last game, well, they were going to be both undefeated when I wrote this, but no longer. 76ers, as you know, fell to the Boston Celtics last night, so they are no longer undefeated, but the Bulls are, as they beat the New York Knicks last night. one of the most shocking teams in the NBA this year, coached by Billy Donovan. Bulls beat the Sixers in the regular season finale last year, 122-102. Joel Embiid, knee injury, always lurking. He's questionable. Jared McCain, as you know, he's out. VJ Edgecombe, the young rookie stud, easy rookie of the year through the first 6 games of the year. 5-6 games. It's not close. So we'll see how he does. Tyrese Maxey, one of the best players in the NBA, going to be an all-star easy lock, averaging 28, 7, and 4, and with 1.5 steals. He is now the leader of the 76ers now. I mean, best ability is availability, so he's just kind of taking over that role, trying to be the leader now. I mean, he was just on ESPN, on Countdown NBA TV, whatever, the Inside NBA, with VJ Edgecombe talking like he's like my rookie, like he's taking him under his wing, which is kind of crazy. We're at that stage now where Tyrese Maxey's like a veteran. That's just crazy. But yeah, Nick Nurse, he's a very inconsistent coach. I don't know how I feel about his rotations. 76ers aren't very deep. They're very old on their bench. I mean, when you have Eric Gordon as your 8th rotational piece, it's going to be pretty rough. So we'll see. Bulls youth, Matas Buzelis, one of the best young players out of last year's draft. He's not having a sophomore slump at all. If anything, he's having a sophomore slumber party. I don't know. Sophomore awesome time.
Yeah.
But he's facilitating. He's averaging 18, 7, and 4 on 54% true shooting percentage, a 39 from 3. So if he can get that up to 40, 41, he's a 3-point contest shooter. It's only on four splits a game. So if he can get that up to 6, he's probably a 25-point game scorer. So we'll see how we go on that. Billy Donovan, he's kind of changed the way he coaches now. He coaches like a real coach instead when he coached the Thunder and thought we were an AAU basketball team for some reason. So he's been coaching like the coach of the year so far. I mean, it's him, Dagnall, and I think who else would it be?
Probably
Nick Kerr? I'm not Nick Kerr.
I don't know. I actually saw an early like betting line for coach of the year, and Dagnall wasn't even in the top 5, and like that's just disrespectful. Yeah, he's won it before, and the Thunder were the champs last year, but they're 6-0. Like, come on.
Tell me, Phil Jackson wasn't the best coach, and he shouldn't have won it every year he won.
Yeah. Who the fuck were the teams? I forgot.
What are you talking about?
Your game.
76er Bulls.
Sixers Bulls. Okay. For me, Sixers Bulls. I'm a little bit annoyed that the Sixers lost. I was hoping they would both be undefeated for that game. I personally think Sixers win that. Tyrese Maxey, like you said, one of the best players in the NBA. Right now, he's playing probably like the top guard in the East. And VJ easily, for me, rookie of the year right now. We will probably repeat that a lot. But Bulls, obviously very surprising. Think they are actually a little bit more of a threat than people are giving them credit for. I think they are a playoff team in the East, at least right now. And Buzelis, Giddey, almost a triple-double last night. They have some really talented young players. There's probably a pretty good chance, I think, that they attempt to make a move. Knowing Chicago, they will make a move. And, like, they're a team, like, if they make the right move, they may be make it out of the first round of the playoffs if they get there, if they sustain this. But Sixers, like you said, weird team. A lot of old players, depth-wise. Embiid is still flopping. He had some egregious stuff last night. I don't know if you saw it, but dude was just doing some stuff. It's like, all right, like you can't jump to dunk, but you can flop like you just got shot or something like that. But Sixers, I think, win this one. Close game, but Bulls, undefeated streak comes on the line, and I think they're going to lose it in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bulls. Why not? Keep it alive.
Sure. Why not? I think that's actually the first one on the NBA that we've differed on, and we actually only had one in college, so a lot of similarity, I think. But my next game is going to be Spurs-Lakers. This one, Spurs still undefeated. Wemby is maybe the MVP frontrunner right now, and they're a very guard-heavy team. They don't even have De'Aaron Fox back yet. I think at some point during this season, I feel like one of their guards will get moved, because they really don't have any front front court depth beyond Wemby, and that's something they're going to have come playoff time if they do want to be considered a real contender. But with that being said, they are playing like one of the best teams in the NBA. Lakers are very up and down. Injuries. One game they're almost at full strength. One game they have half a roster. It makes no sense to me, but I feel like that's how the Lakers have been for like the last 5 seasons. Luka had a good game last night. Not sure if he's going to play in that one, but for me, I think what it comes down to is can the Lakers contain Wemby enough to keep him from actually facilitating? Because I think that's where teams go wrong with him. He can score 35, but he's also facilitating, and I think that's the thing that's winning games for the Spurs right now. And for that reason, I do feel like the Lakers are going to have a hard time stopping that, and I think the Spurs are going to win that one.
Is it who's at home?
I think it's in LA. Yeah, it's in LA.
Okay, well, yeah. Then I will take as well the Spurs. It seems like the Lakers cannot play at home for some reason, so I think the Spurs are going to continue their great win streak, going 6-0. Mitch Johnson has been coaching his ass off with the new Spurs. He was as well the interim coach last year, so it's good they kept an in-house. So he knows the team, he knows the community, he knows the legacy of Greg Popovich and all that. I'm glad Pop is still like in the organization, so he's like not completely like away from the team. I hate that he had a stroke. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch Johnson's looking like the next heir to the Spurs dynasty that they're gonna have because they have an alien at the helm. Have you seen the stuff that they might lose the Spurs, like San Antonio?
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they're thinking about moving
I haven't.
because San Antonio's not as profitable. They're thinking like Austin. So
I mean, their G League affiliate is there.
Yeah,
but that's so weird to me.
That would be something. Maybe something to keep an eye out for. But yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's go Spurs here. I don't like Luka. I hope Luka. I'm not gonna finish that, but I hope he has a great season, injury free as well. I'm sure he'll play every 82 games. Oh wait, already missed that. Let's have. He has some of the best PR I've ever seen. He loses all this weight, gonna be so healthy, and now I can't even.
He's already out half the season.
Anyways, yeah, I'm going Spurs here. They play real basketball. JJ Redick, I don't know. He's a okay coach. He's better than Darvin Ham, but that's not saying much. So yeah. Spurs here, but probably good margin. Hey, dog, go hard in the paint. Salute.
Yeah, so that was episode 1 of Full Court Press. We'll be back next Thursday. I think that's like November 6th or something like that. We're going to try to pop out 2 episodes a week. Glad you stuck with us. Excited for college to get going. Only a couple more days until that. NBA in full swing now. A lot to look forward to in both areas, and a lot to look forward to in the next episode. I'm O'Red. That's Q. This is Full Court Press. See ya.
Full court press, ball like Q Hunt can. Old red got that press, it ain't no lie. He jump in, press, full court press, ball like Q Hunt can. Old red got that press, it ain't no lie. He jump in.